Check. Oh yeah, ay, B.I.G. Big Nando. And this might be the realest shit I ever wrote. Last year was messed up, but since a little young and I always been getting it. It was me, Steph, and Mike. I was stealing bikes, but I started all pedal.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Mike Ramirez, spelling bee champion. You already know that's my brother and co-host, Big Nando, and we're the MMA bros. Mixed martial arts brothers. Yes, you already know. Great weekend. We're gonna talk about the Bellator and UFC this today in episode 6, and we're really excited because of course we're gonna talk about the top and still Usman Nurmagomedov takes and beats our legend Benson Henderson. Wow, that was a great fight. Another first rounder. So it's kind of hard to see who's going to beat Usman. Of course, they're in the tournament right now. But to beat a legend and stop him like that, he threw that axe kick, and I think he kind of slipped on it. But at the same time, threw it, landed it, stumbled him, dropped Benson, just got on top of him. He really had nothing for him. After a couple minutes, he got on top of him. I mean, that was a crazy couple minutes of action in the first round, though. What you think?
Yeah, the skill level was just much different. Usman definitely did his thing. Everybody pretty much had it. You seen the betting favorites on that were so crazy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think it was a question mark kick if I'm not mistaken. But either way, it was ridiculous. He placed it perfectly. He faked out Benson Henderson with it. He dropped. By the time he came up with the rest of the question mark kick, it was already too late to react to it, and that's what brought him to the ground. It was pretty much done for after that. He had his back, and he did what he had to do on that one. Oh man, yeah, that was a beautiful finish, a beautiful performance. Like I said, he's looking unstoppable right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was the beginning and the end when he hit that, and obviously he kind of hit him with a couple ground and pound shots, and then rear naked choke to finish it out. And then obviously it was bittersweet once again for another legend. It's hard to always go out with the win, but he put his gloves in the middle of the octagon right after. It's of course that saying that he is retiring from the sport of MMA, and what a legendary career for Benson Henderson, from fighting to the who's who in the UFC, Bellator, so many different organizations, getting so many top level wins. I mean, this guy's beat Pitbull, he's beat Masvidal, he's beat Nate Diaz, he's beat Frankie Edgar. So it's our time as the MMA bros to give out their flowers. That's well deserved to another legend, Benson Henderson.
Yeah, shout out to Benson Henderson. Great career he had.
Yep. So Usman Nurmagomedov moves on in the tournament. So it's a great Bellator tournament going on here. And that's going to roll. So he is and still. So that is his first title defense. And that's going to go to our next co-main event, which is another fight on the same tournament, which was Alexander Shabali fighting Tofik Musayev. And Alexander Shabali is advances, and he basically kicked him, a body kick in the third round, and he dropped him, and it was obviously the beginning and the end. He's looking pretty impressive as well. He trains with AT&T, so I'm pretty excited to see what he can do in the tournament as well. But man, there's a lot of killers in this tournament, man. A lot of them. Yeah.
This tournament's tough right now.
yeah, definitely. Who you got winning the tournament?
I think it's hard to go against Usman, but I think I'm gonna go with AJ McKee on this one.
Yeah, I got you. AJ, he's a monster, man. But he's first fight is he's fighting another monster. So we'll see about that, because I do got Usman winning the whole thing. But there's too many killers in here to call it. So the third fight, or the second to the last fight on the card, was Linton Vassell, which he stops Valentin Moldavsky in the first round via KO. And opening the main card, which is one of my favorite fighters. I've been watching him for a decade. This guy is just a lot of people's favorite fighters, honestly. Whether you watch UFC, you don't have to just watch UFC. People know him. He's a mainstay name in the Bellator. Michael Venom Page fights Yamauchi, stops him with dramatic fashion in the first round. I mean, it looks like he exploded his kneecap. Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy leg kick, chopped him, walk-off style. It was just an amazing
Is that
stop.
what it looked like?
Yeah, exactly. It definitely looked like that. So the first rounder, just another, great performance. And they called for a title shot after. So, we'll see because he's not in the tournament. So it's kind of one of those things. So you're not in the tournament, but he called for a title shot. So we'll see. Obviously it's a different weight, but we're going to see what's going on with that if he gets it. But, we'll see.
Yeah, shout out to him. That was amazing. He seems like he keeps doing that to opponents too, and over there in Bellator, he keeps putting serious damage on them. I mean, he's broke somebody's nose. I mean, crushed it. The guy where he crushed his skull in the middle of his head. I mean, and now
crazy.
This one right here, where you say it looks like his knee exploded. I mean, he's putting some serious work, and he has some very, very hard strikes.
Yeah, so man, we just seen Yaroslav, get that win a couple weeks ago. So maybe MVP's fitting to fight him next. He kind of sneaks in there, and that makes sense too. So I mean, he's always going to be up there. His name's always going to be fighting for the belt. So very excited for him in his future. And we're going to roll right into UFC Las Vegas recap. What a great card. I mean, this is once again I love when there's 6 fights on the main card. I mean, it's always, exciting. It keeps us always entertained. It's longer. Everything about that. The venue looked amazing. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we love, everything. The T-Mobile Arena, the Apex. But this venue looked amazing as well. It just seemed like
Virgin Hotels, I think it was at, wasn't it? At the Virgin Hotels or something like that.
Yeah, I believe so. So, I mean, that one's great. So we're going to start right at the top of that one. Peter Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili, bantamweight. Whoa. This was an incredible matchup. Peter Yan, was basically trying to stop his, takedowns, Merab's takedowns the entire time. I mean, when you're talking about 49 takedowns, the most ever attempted in a mixed martial artist fight, it's incredible what Merab did. It never looked like he even got tired for 1 second. Did you? I mean, it's kind of like he was, his machine.
Oh, no. He definitely is. He has a gas tank out of this world. Like, he's a tough guy. When you hear other teammates that train with him, they're like, man, this guy, we got to be on his level. He's a workhorse. I mean, he's looking very scared for the division. The fight he had before, I think it was with Jose Aldo, if I'm not mistaken. People weren't super impressed. And, this one just opened up a lot of eyes, and it's like Peter Yan has lost a couple, but he hasn't lost in astonishing fashion. He's lost very close fights, and
we've lost 4 of the last 5.
It's not like he fell off though, he's still in his prime. He's still a top scary ranked fighter.
Right. I agree.
And for Merab to do this to him like that, I mean, he really, really shut this guy up and shut a lot of the doubters up and proved that what he's really about.
Yeah. And, 11 takedowns out of 49. Once again, it's a record. But, Peter Yan's lost 4 of his last 5 fights. I mean, before this, he was looking indestructible. He's still technically sound and everything, but he was looking unbeatable at one point. And now he's on his skid where it's like he lost 4 of the last fights. It's like, where does he go from now? Is he a gatekeeper? Do people build a name off him? Is it, so it's tough to see what's next for him. And once again, it's tough to see what's next for Merab because his, best friend is the champion, Aljamain Sterling. So, of course, he's not going to fight for the belt until Aljamain Sterling leaves the division. So, it's kind of, he kind of leaves Merab once again in limbo, which he said he's fine with. So he could fight, fight the winner of Cheeto or Sanhagen, or he could fight Sean O'Malley, who's still out there. But once again, he's kind of in limbo because he's not going to fight for the belt because Aljamain Sterling's there. So it's kind of a difficult one to, put in perspective and seeing, what's next for kind of both of them in that way.
No, definitely. I still think Peter Yan has it in him. I think he has to win a few more fights to get on the win column, but he can still definitely do work. But not right now is Merab's time to shine, definitely.
Oh, definitely. Merab's definitely time to shine. And he landed 401 strikes, and, he won the unanimous decision as well. So once again,
Oh, I wanted to.
It was
and with the decision, I had that fight? I had that 50-45.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think a couple of the
Every
judges had the
round.
same. Yeah,
Every
man, it
round.
wasn't even. It wasn't even close, honestly. But it was still it still was a competitive fight. It doesn't mean that it just because it wasn't a super close for points, it still was a competitive fight overall. And the co-main event of this one we're gonna roll into is Alexander Volkov versus Alexander Romanov,
Yeah.
heavyweight bout. This one we thought that Romanov was probably gonna give a little bit more
I
just
definitely
a
did.
little bit more than what he gave out. He
Yeah.
just looked gassed, right? From the opening bell, he almost looked gassed. So it's tough. It's tough to when a fighter goes out there like that. But Volkov, he basically was just like hammer. He got on top of him, just was hammering him,
Yeah.
finished him, TKO'd him, and it was over before it started. Honestly.
Yeah, he couldn't. He didn't have much. I think he probably got clipped. I don't know. He could have got his nose broke or something. It was one of those punches I think got in and really just hurt him. And after people get their faces hit so many times, sometimes they have soft spots. That if they get hit right in that one spot or it's over with. Even like a nose or anything, it doesn't take much pressure really to hurt somebody like that. So if he caught a good shot, I think that's what really happened. And yeah, he was over with. He was gassed. And yeah, it was definitely not what I seen coming. I thought it would be definitely a lot more of a war than that. But yeah, shout out to Alexander Volkov. That was a great finish.
Definitely. And the rebooked, much awaited Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann.
Yeah.
Boy, did we get this one wrong. It was tough because Ryan Spann
Yeah.
made it competitive, and they were kind of going back and forth on the feet for a little bit, then on the ground, of course. But ultimately, Krylov, gets the triangle submission on him, stops him, and now he's on a 3-win streak. What did you think about this, man? I just thought it was going to go a little different. I thought Ryan Spann, I think we both thought he was going to touch him up and probably finish him. But man, Nikita Krylov is tough as nails and just shows, he was a better fighter that night.
Yeah, I think that experience of Krylov and his skills and capabilities really showed last night. Yeah, we both had Span. I thought Span actually. I thought he was going to catch him early, which he did catch him a couple times. But Krylov is very tough. I thought he was
Yeah.
going to catch him early and possibly have a knockout, maybe a knockout that leads to a ground submission or something. They were flipping around how many times? I don't know. They were both catching each other, and they just kept tumbling down there for a while, and eventually Krylov, got through, and that was a beautiful finish right there, beautiful submission.
Yeah, and he was just a step ahead of the entire fight, so it just was hard. This is the one that was canceled a couple weeks ago. They did fight at catchweight.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see what's next for both of them. The next fight on the card was Said Nurmagomedov versus Jonathan Martinez at bantamweight. This was a great fight. This was a really, really good fight. Man, Said looked so impressive on his feet, man. This guy is really elusive out there. He has some nice hips. He's swinging back and forth. You're just like, man, his trajectory's good. He can kick really nice. His punches are really nice. Nurmagomedov, so you're just like, oh, this guy's from Dagestan, of course. Yes. He's going to be the top. He's just going to take them down and he's drown these guys and ground and pound. But no, this guy is a lethal stand-up fighter. And I was thinking he was gonna get the edge on this one, but man, Jonathan Martinez is tough as nails and he's resilient. And he just kept fighting through. He kept wearing on him, throwing him against the cage, trying to bring him down, just having him in the clinch, landing all those clinched knees. He just kept kneeing him, and ultimately he got the decision over Said, which some people were surprised. But when you're just getting controlled that whole time, it's tough to say give it to the other person. So that was a pretty good fight, man.
And he looked and Freddie, he looked like the more. He had more energy the whole fight. He didn't look gassed at all. Said he was starting to look gassed early. I mean, the judges see things like that when somebody's getting gassed and who's looking fresher. He looked like a much fresher fighter. So I mean, shout out to him. Said definitely looked very impressive. I think he had more significant strikes, but when you're getting controlled like that, like you said, it's hard to come on top. It's hard to come on top and convince the judges of that.
Definitely. And shout out to Jonathan Martinez for getting a W, unanimous decision win over that. Now next is Mario Bautista over the 43-year-old Guido Canetti. This was at bantamweight. Wow, this one pretty much, he suplexed him, to a rear naked choke. And yeah, I mean, this one was over pretty quick as well. A lot of people were looking forward to that bout, just because you're going to try to see if Guido can come back and do something, because he was, you think, the Argentinian guy. He was kicking and he was nice out there. He got a couple wins, but when you're at that age, it's probably time to hang it up. So shout out to him. He's had a great career as well. And the opener on the card, because once again there were 6 fights on this stacked card. Vitor Petrino versus Anton Turkaj. It's kind of hard to say his last name, but
Turgali or something like that.
Vitor Petrino wins a decision over him. He kept throwing bombs on him, man.
Yeah,
he caught him in the first round, with the up kick too. I'm saying he was kind of getting a little sloppy, or he got a little happy, and they caught him with the up kick. But but obviously, he was relentless with the takedowns, relentless with the blows. It was a great light heavyweight bout. But ultimately, Vitor Petrino did get the win over him, and he has a bright future ahead of him as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. That he does throw bombs. He throws crazy bombs. I think he was coming from that Dana White Contender Series, and he's fire. He has a lot of entertainment, and I can't wait to see what he does for the future. I think he needs to work on his gas tank a little bit, but that's something very, very workable. So I like him for the future.
Yes. So that was our UFC Las Vegas recap. Now it's time for the UFC 286 ice cold picks, baby. We're gonna do the main card because this is what everybody's super excited for. Of course, they're gonna be in London. This is gonna be amazing. We're gonna start at the bottom of the card of the main card, which is an exciting. This could be a headliner main event. But Marvin Vettori takes on Roman Dolidze. Whoa, this one's gonna be a firecracker. What you think on this one?
That's a nice matchup. They're starting off the card too. I think.
That's gonna be crazy.
Man, that's so hard right there. That's a tough ice cold pick. I think my ice cold pick and prediction will be. I'm gonna give this edge a little bit to Vettori. And that's a tough one. I'm gonna say his championship fighting experience, fighting against Izzy and fighting against Whitaker. I think just those couple fights will help him edge this out. I don't know by how much, and I don't know which way, but I think I'll take Vettori on this one.
I got Roman Dolidze winning. He's been looking pretty nice for his Phil Hawes. Of course, he just beat Jacker Manson, Kyle Dawkins, which is now out of the UFC. But Roman Dolidze, he looks super impressive in there. This guy looks like a tank. He's a monster in there.
Honestly, against him.
It is, but at the same time, I'm gonna say one thing is if this was a 5-round fight, I think I probably would give it to Marvin Vettori. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he would have the championship experience and probably be able to have a little bit more gas tank towards the end and whatnot. But since it is a 3-round fight, I am gonna give Roman Dolidze the advantage here, and it's tough to say he's gonna stop Vettori because it is very tough to stop him. So I'm gonna go with he wins a decision over Vettori, and I think it is a back and forth, and I think Vettori wins possibly the first round, but then I think Roman Dolidze just takes over the last couple rounds and gets that win. So you got Vettori on that one. I got Dolidze. We'll see this weekend, of course, UFC 286 in London.
Bet him up then.
We'll go straight to the next one, which is Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill. Wow, I'm gonna go into my pick, which is I got Casey O'Neill undefeated at 9-0. She's looking very impressive. She, has a couple notable wins over Antonina Shevchenko, of course. That's over the Queen's sister. Roxanne Modafferi, obviously, it was her retirement fight, so she basically retired her. No, but so think she's gonna beat Maya. She is coming off a torn ACL, so she's been out for a year. But to me, she looks super impressive. She goes in there, she's not looking to outpoint somebody. She's looking for a finish, which is just what you're looking for, obviously, in a fighter, mixed martial artist, and it's just an amazing to watch her. And I'm really excited for her, and I think she does get this win over Jennifer Maia.
Yeah, I think I'm also picking Casey. She has been looking real impressive. And she did have the injury, but I don't think it will be a factor with her game plan. I think I'm also going Casey on this one.
Okay, and next one is going to be amazing fight. Gunnar Nelson versus coming back is Brian Barberena. So Gunnar Nelson versus Brian Barberena, welterweight. This one's gonna be a really nice one. I got Gunnar beating Barberena. I got him punching him, and the only reason, it's crazy. I actually probably would have had Barberena just because he's been on a streak before this. But the reason I have him losing is just because he just lost to Dos Anjos in December a few months ago, and it's he kind of gave the recipe, kind of gave the game plan of how to beat Brian Barberena. Dos Anjos did. So I'm thinking Gunnar Nelson can implement the same game plan. But once again, it's harder. It's easier said than done. I think Gunnar is going to go in there, and I think he is going to be able to implement that same game plan and just win a decision over him. I don't think he gets a stop. I don't think either way gets a stop, but Brian Barberena obviously puts his hands on him. It's going to be tough to say that he's not going to get the stop, but I do got Gunnar edging him out. What do you got? Who do you got?
Dos Santos, he might have been able to solve the puzzle that Brian Barberena is, but I don't think Gunnar's going to be able to. I'm going Brian Barberena on this one, and you can bet your red bottom dollar it's going to happen. I'm going Brian on this one. He's had a nice streak. Dos Santos is a tough one that he did lose to, but he's been doing his thing besides that, and he did have still a solid fight against Dos Santos. So I'm gonna go Brian on this one.
Awesome. And guys, remember, this is UFC 286. This is our segment called Ice Cold Picks. And remember, if you're really putting money on this, listen to Mike Ramirez. Don't listen to Big Nando. All right. So, co-main event: Justin Gaethje, the highlight, versus Rafael Fiziev. Man, this one is gonna be fireworks. This one is gonna be probably the fight tonight. This one is going to be performance tonight. Whatever you want to say, this one is going to be it at lightweight. This is going to be two top-tier mixed martial artists going at it. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going Justin Gaethje on this one. Justin Gaethje just is who he is. He's a tough competitor. I think they're going to go in there and they're going to have a stand-up kickboxing war is what it is. And I don't think anybody can out-tough Justin Gaethje. Strike for strike, just standing in there. I don't think anybody can right now. If they go to the ground, who knows what to say is what to happen. Rafael Fiziev has been looking very sharp. He's on a tear right now. He's an incredible fighter. He might be the best striker in the division. Who knows? We get to see this on Saturday night in London, so it's going to be ridiculous. I'm going Justin Gaethje. He's knocking the legs off of Rafael Fiziev. And, we'll see how this one goes. It's going to be a very exciting fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we know that's exactly how it's not going to go. So, Rafael Fiziev, I think, is going to get a stoppage win over Justin Gaethje. But in the third round, I think this one's tough to call, man. Once again, I think, what we were talking about off camera. I mean, this one, they're kind of the same fighter in a way. So it's tough to say, one has the edge over the other, except for Justin Gaethje does have all that championship experience. But this is not a 5-round fight. This is a 3-round fight, right? True. I think Rafael just has the tools to take him out. But at the same time, this one can go the 3 rounds because they're just, they're warriors. It could be like a Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje, fight where it does go the 3 rounds because they're both, warriors and, they both put on crazy wars. But I think Fiziev, finds a way to, finish the fight. He only has 1 loss, which was about 4 years ago. And I just don't see him, losing, but he's on a long winning streak. And at the same time, it's so tough because on the other side, you got Justin Gaethje, just an amazing mixed martial artist. Everybody it's everybody's favorite fighter. It's fighters' favorite fighter. It's the fans' favorite fighter, you know what I'm saying? So it's just at the end of the day, I'm liking Justin Gaethje taking an L in this one. But I like him so much as a fighter that it's always so hard to pick against him. But I have Fiziev taking the win in the co-main event of UFC 286, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that one's gonna be fire.
Yes, and now
and shout out to Rafael Fiziev too, because I really like him as a fighter. He's really doing his thing. I just
100%, man. I love watching him fight. So man, I can't wait for this one. But now to the main event, when everybody's been waiting for the long-awaited rematch. Well, it's a trilogy now, and wow, we are really excited for this one. Leon Rocky Edwards versus the Nigerian Nightmare Kamaru Usman, UFC 286 in London, main event at the O2 Arena. Wow, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be a chess match. I think this one's going to go back and forth. It's going to be, I think, sometimes I'm like, I kind of like battle where it's going to go all 5 rounds or if somebody's going to get the win. But I think ultimately Leon Rocky Edwards is going to win a decision over him. And I think it's going to be a different fight overall. I think Leon is going to be the one marching him down the entire fight, which he was doing in the first round. And then he kind of got away from that, maybe the altitude. There's a lot of things going on, obviously fighting in Colorado or was in Utah, I believe. And so there's a lot of things going with that. I think he squeaks out a decision. I think he wins, probably 3 rounds, and Usman still was able to win 2 rounds. So I still think it's going to be a chess match. I think this is going to be a war. I think they're both going to be grappling. They're going to be against the cage. They're going to be striking. But I think just the Usman, is kind of looking like his knees are falling apart. It's kind of looking like he's getting a little up there in age. It's kind of, he's just got knocked out. Now you got to fight him again. So it's kind of, I'm thinking it's still my favorite fighter's time, Leon Rocky Edwards. I think he's just going to be and I think he takes the W and retains the strap in London in his, home country. Leon Rocky Edwards, I think, wins the belt.
Yeah, Leon had a great, devastating knockout last fight.
Knockout of the year, yeah.
That's where it ends. This is over with. Kamaru's getting this belt back. I mean, he sat there and little boyed this boy for. I mean, not this boy.
I'm disgusted.
He sat there and little boyed Leon Edwards for most the whole fight, and then he had a great knockout. But to say that Leon's gonna come in here and do this again, I mean, I don't see that at all. I mean, I see the will of Kamaru still coming into play. I see the wrestling holding him against the fence, having the control time, taking him to the ground. Leon did have a beautiful takedown in the first round and even won the first round.
Did Usman get up from that?
He won the first round, like I said. But
who won the 5th round? Who won the 5th round?
He was losing the 5th round until that shot. But So basically he lost 3.5 rounds, and he had a great shot.
That's what
a lot of fighters have a great shot, and this is why you have to go to the rematch. Just as Jiri finished Glover in the last 30 seconds of the fight, and they had to go to the immediate rematch, which never happened, but they had to do that because when a fighter is a champion and they're winning the whole fight and then lose at the end, it's like, oh my gosh, can we just run this back? Now we get to see this. I'm gonna give the edge to Kamaru Usman on this one. The champ Leon Edwards. Let's see if he can do it again. It's gonna be a great fight.
I think Usman's gonna be gun shy. I think he's just gonna be, he's not gonna know when to shoot. I think he might even take a couple knees, maybe elbows.
We don't know how the kick affected him either. That's a devastating knockout.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a long night for. I think it's gonna be a long night for Usman, but at the same time, man, I at the same time I know he's gonna. I possibly think he's gonna win a round or two, just because he is able to get him against the fence and probably control him a little bit. But I don't think he's gonna be able to do that for 5 rounds. I think Leon Edwards just got another feel for him. He has more confidence. He has the momentum. He's at home. I mean, there's a lot of things on Leon's side this time. You know what I'm saying? So definitely. I got Leon Rocky Edwards taking it and still in London, UFC 286 this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be amazing. That's our UFC 286 ice cold picks. You already know. If you're putting your money in, put it with Mike Ramirez. Don't put it with Big Nando. But if you do trust Big Nando, put it with him.
Nando,
and we're gonna see
you big money. Let's get it.
Yeah. We'll see next weekend, of course, or next week's episode, who was right and who was wrong. But of course, we already know, ladies and gentlemen, who it is. And now rolling in to our final segment, Too Much Sauce. Yes.
What a too much sauce. Too much.
Hey, I love this segment. Everybody loves it. That's why we have it on every episode. Episode 6, we're gonna have, Too Much Sauce is, could be the best knockout, could be the best submission, best feel-good moment, best buzzer beater, whatever, we deem that week, what we think is going to be, just the best highlight of that week. What do you got for your Too Much Sauce?
Too much sauce this week. There was so many different things that we could have chose from. I chose to go with Davy Grant's finish. He was on the prelims of the UFC fight this past weekend on Saturday. And his finish was absolutely amazing. It's one of the things that you don't really see in all of MMA. It happens here and there, but not really. He had a reverse triangle. Triangle, and it was from the opposite side, and he put him to sleep. I forget the guy's name. I had it right here. I forget the other guy's name, but
he put up. That's Rafael Sunsao.
A sunset. Yeah. I think he's seen a sun. I think he's seen a sunset though. Because he had a great, and he retired. Yeah, he retired that night because he had a long, amazing career, but the finish, it sucks. It's like when we see even like Frankie Edgar get put out at the end of his career. It does suck. It's kind of bittersweet, but the finish was amazing. The reverse triangle, he put him to sleep. The ref didn't even know if he was still awake. I mean, we didn't even know if that was in fully like that or how. It was just amazing to see. Davy Grant for Too Much Sauce. That's what I got. What you got this week for Too Much Sauce?
I like it. That one was a spectacular finish. Yeah. Reverse triangle, put him to sleep. And it was a spinning back fist to the reverse triangle. So once again, it was just in spectacular fashion. Davy Grant, congrats. My Too Much Sauce is Michael Venom Page from Bellator. Brutal leg kick stoppage in the first round. Walk-off style over Yamauchi. Oh, man. Like I said, he called for the title shot. But, man, it looked like we were saying, said earlier, it looked like his kneecap exploded. It was a brutal stoppage. But, this guy just collapsed right away. Once again, another impressive stoppage from Michael Venom Page. This guy just keeps delivering, spectacular performances, win or lose. Now, of course, he's in discussion again for another title shot. Man,
that was crazy. He straight kicked his leg. That
just came out.
He's hitting super hard and very technical. He's hitting them spots.
Yeah, definitely, man. That one was it was awesome, man. Walk-off style for him. Hopefully, awesome. Yamauchi recovers well. A speedy recovery for him. And that is our episode, ladies and gentlemen. That is episode 6. Thank you guys so much for keeping up with us, like you keep up with the Kardashians. But we got over 1,000 views, no problem. Overall within our first few episodes, we only been doing this for a month plus, so we're happy you guys are along with us. Subscribe, comment, like, thumbs up, share, do all that, retweet, whatever you put on Snapchat, Instagram. All that, we do appreciate it. We're on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we all are on Facebook. So, and of course, our YouTube podcast. So follow us. And that's Big Nando. I'm Mike Ramirez, Spelling Bee champion. Drink water, stretch, and be ready for us next week because we're coming in hot, and we'll see who's ready and who won the ice cold picks for next week. Thank you. See you guys next week.
Yo.
Check, my check. Oh yeah, ay, B.I.G., Big Nando. And this might be the realest shit I ever wrote. Last year was messed up, but since a little young and I always been getting it. It was me, Steph, and Mike. I was stealing bikes, but I started all pedaling. I got into selling the dope. It was knocks at the door, but I won't let the devil in. These women be out on my line, but they ain't talking money. Just tell me they fetishes. These bitches be fucking who else, so I'm taking a hit. I ain't talking about